So something I'm really looking forward to doing more of here in the near future is actually just getting out and doing some longer rides. The majority of the riding I've done so far has mostly actually just been commuting, and that's still not saying a lot because I've only owned this bike for about 3 weeks, but I have tons of routes already planned out that I'm really hoping to get to this summer. A lot of those routes are going to be cruising through the mountains or out on the coast, just scenic places in general, so I'm going to try to do my best to document those as much as I can, which is why we're out in the garage here today, because I'm going to be trying to install the first iteration of capturing engine audio that I've come up with. Now that I've tested out the GoPro a little bit and that seems to be rocking and rolling, I want to find a way to integrate the best audio setup I can. So today we're going to be rigging the Purple Panda lav mic onto the bike itself, and then rather than just run that straight into the GoPro, I actually am going to be running the audio directly into this Zoom H1N. Honestly, both of these were pretty inexpensive to acquire, so I figured as far as just an entry-level system or setup, I should say, it's a pretty low barrier to entry. And if these get broken or damaged or don't perform that well, you're not eating a whole lot of cost. And I think for now, I'm not really going to be worried about capturing anything other than engine audio. I think, at some point I'm probably gonna wanna run a second lav mic into the helmet and do some more dialogue commentary while I'm out riding. But for now, we're gonna just start with the engine audio. The cool thing about this particular lav set though, is it came in a pair, as well as they give you a splitter. So that is, I think I have to test this out, so don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure that is all that's gonna be required to run an individual mic to both the bike itself for the engine audio and then one into the helmet for narration. And I haven't seen that many people do that, or frankly, I haven't really seen anybody do that. So it might be a little bit of overkill. I know a lot of people either do just engine noise or they run, a mic just into the helmet, and that kind of does a good enough job at capturing both the dialogue and the sounds of the bike. But I think it'd be cool to just kind of test it out and see how it goes. And then that gives you the ability to, edit those tracks individually if you want to bring up the engine noise or decrease, basically duck it against your dialogue. That's something that you'll then have the ability to do. So I think my plan is going to be to mount the lav mic on the inside of this metal cover here. That seems to be one of the best places to get the mic close to the exhaust and capture that engine audio, and also have it blocked so that you're pretty much reducing as much wind noise as possible. And I definitely have to give the head nod to Gavin Andrews, another Lowrider S owner, who did a video about running this audio setup and going to be using that as an example to sort of springboard. And then the goal from there would be, rather than running it straight into the GoPro, I'm going to run probably the line from the lav mic just right up here into my pocket or something where I'll have the handheld recording device. So for starters, we will just go ahead and pop this guy off. And then there's one little tab that it locks into on the inside. So you just kind of give it a quick little straight tug and comes right off. You can see there's a bunch of smooth space for some sort of adhesive to go on here, which is what we're going to be doing next. So unboxing the lav mic itself, as I mentioned, it comes with 2 microphones as well as a couple of different extension cables, some adapters of some sorts, I believe, and then also a splitter cable, so you can run both the lavs to 2 separate locations. As I mentioned, we're gonna start with just the engine audio for now, so there's really not much we need other than the one mic from this set for right now. So the other great suggestion that Gavin had in his video was using something like these wire organizers or cable organizers that have an adhesive on the back of them, and they seem to be working great, so we're gonna go with that route here as well, especially because, like I mentioned, the lav we're running right now, or the audio setup we're running right now, I should say, is going to be just a single lav. There's only one piece that's actually being mounted to the bike, so something small, compact, that can adhere to the back plate like that really easily, and then it's literally designed to be a cable organizer is sort of the perfect solution. So this set of cable organizers comes with a variety of either singles or multiple cable slots in it. And I think even though I'm only running a single lav, I'm gonna go ahead and do the 3-channeled one just because I want the footprint of the back of it to have more adhesive surface, so it's gonna stick on there nice and tight. And what's cool is these things are pretty flexible too, so it seems like getting it to kind of conform to the curved interior of this shouldn't really be much of an issue. So we'll just press it on there nice and tight. With that 3M backing on the metal surface, no problems. So with this adhesive on, we'll now take our lav. I threw the dead cat on, and the idea is it's gonna run in from the top where there's this little opening or cutout with the metal cover, and then I'll just tuck it around a couple of these cable slots. There's some wiggle room in here, so I'll probably just go ahead and throw some duct tape on here as well, just to keep it held down. And I don't think that I'm gonna be leaving this in here when I'm not actually filming. It's a little bit of a pain to have to undo these couple of bolts, but I think that's not too much to ask, and I don't wanna risk you know, anything happening to this or giving it more exposure than it needs to. So hopefully none of this gets too hot, but from what I've seen with everybody else running a setup of this nature, nothing's happened so far, so we'll just see how it goes. So I ended up changing the layout of this a little bit thanks to some feedback my dad gave me as he came out and checked out what I was doing. So ended up moving this over just because it did need to clear a little bit of pieces inside the bike still. We want to keep it away from anything as much as possible. And then we ran the extension along the top so that I will actually leave the mic in here, and it's attached and kind of tidied up with some Velcro, and then the 3M cable organizer adhesive is still there. But now it'll just be this piece right here that I need to plug into, and I will just go ahead and leave all of this in here when I'm not recording, as long as it's being protected from the elements. And with the Velcro system, I'll be able to just slide this down and tuck it away like that when it's not being used. All right, so I got that all put on, covers back on, and then the last step to test this thing out is basically, the final piece is gonna be the recorder is just gonna go in my pocket, and then I'll plug in. Obviously I'll get rid of all this slack and bundle that up in the pocket as well. And then this is where these two pieces come together. And then now it's time to just see how we sound, which I actually have to run to Harley Davidson and return some gaskets that I bought and I ended up not needing, so it might get rained on a little bit, but that could also be another good first test to see if this is gonna hold up and stay dry.